Kum Lenin, a block Gemara. Today's daf is that Pei Vav. Pei Vav. We're actually up to that Pei Vav of a base, the Mishnah. Okay, and we already had this concept before that we're talking about hafara is you're given a limited time. The husband's given a limited time to be Yom Shammai, only day that he heard it, either to nightfall or according to the Bryce we learned. They said until 24 hours, but otherwise that's it. Very limited, very limited window. What happens if he did not know? You're not aware that he's actually able to annul the neder. So when does his Yom Shammai start? From when he heard the neder, or from when he became aware that he actually has the capacity to annul the neder? And then we're going to learn what about, and also we're going to learn right now. That's the next few missions talking about. Also, let's say he misunderstood, or he thought it was one person in the family member of. He has a right over his daughter, a right over his wife, and he thought it was, for example, the daughter turned out to be the wife, the daughter. What happens then? And then when he found out, does he still have the Yom Shammai? He would say, too late. You had your chance, and that's it. Says the Mishnah. Nodra Ishta, his wife made a neder, but he thought Nodra Bita, he thought it was his daughter made a neder. Or Nodra Bita, or his daughter made a neder, but he thought Nodra Ishta, his wife made a neder. Or Nodra Ben Nazir, he made not the person, but he made a mistake actually what the neder was all about. Nodra, she made a neder all about a Nazir, and then Vesavra, and he thought Nodra Becarbon, he thought that she took upon herself. And she said that meat is forbidden to me, and it's like a carbon. Didn't realize that she said what wine, let's say, and going to seminary because she wants to be a nazir. Or not a big carbon, not a nazir. The idea is that he wasn't aware of precisely what the neder was. Nodra mita'eni, she made a neder from figs with and he thought she thought that she made a neder from grapes. So he acted one way or another. Or nodra min anavim, she made a neder that she will decline from eating grapes, but but he was under the impression that she made a neder not to eat figs. He has allowed to, even later on, even though it's a week since it happened, it's as if today was the day that he heard, and therefore he's still entitled to annul the neder.
So if he did a hafara beforehand, based on his mistake,
since it was all betas, it's like nothing ever happened, and it's as if now he became aware of it. So therefore, the Yom Shammai, the clock starts ticking now. Sorry, one was about the person, one was about the content of the neder. You're right. The three examples there, I guess each one is more. Example, the last one, he got it right. It was about food, but just the wrong food. So maybe that's not really considered an error. Each one like a bigger chiddush. Okay, says Gemara lememra. So what are you actually telling me? Bottom line telling me is that we take the pasuk literally. The pasuk says the yoni oisa dafku. It says in the pasuk that he can annul the neder. It's oisa. It has to be. He has to know exactly what he is annulling or what he is confirming. And we're dashing the word oisa. We take it literally. So that's the question. We have something very similar in another halach altogether, and that is regarding kriya. If one of your close relatives passed away, you have to do kriya. You have to rent your clothes. And it says by Shol HaMelech, we'll find a number of times it says the word al for Shol, they mourn for this and that. So we learn from there that if a number of people pass away at the same time, you have to tear a separate kriya for each one. So it says here like this. It says, when it comes to renting one's clothes, the chsiva, it says al, a number of times, says al. The Chibit says, "Our show." It says in the pasuk that they mourned and they cried till the evening for show, and on Yonason, and on the nation, and on Beis Yisrael. So it's 4 times al. Al show about Yonason. By the time we learned, and from here we learn now that you have to tear a separate kriya for each one. The time we learned Amrullah. So it says al for each one. It seems that the way you dash him before, because it says in Torah clearly each one on Tanakh, that you have to rent your clothes for each once. What happens if you, let's say, rented your clothes thinking it was your father, turned out to be was your brother, or some other relative? Then it shouldn't be effective. You have to rent your clothes again because it says al. You're saying when the Torah adds an extra word, it's very specific. And here's the Nevi'im. The Chayda is very specific. So the din should be that if you thought it was your father, turned out to be somebody else, you should have to rent your clothes again. So what happened? Time yet to learn the brayse. They told him, "Mace of your father died with Korah. He did kriya. Well, the achik turned out to be it wasn't his father at all. It was his son. Yotze yedei kriya. That even that since he tip rib kriya, it's good enough to do it again. Even though it says al, it doesn't mean that you have to know precisely who you're tearing kriya for at the time you took kriya. So the same thing with yani oisa. The word oisa also should oisa and al, the same idea. So oisa also shouldn't be dafka. You thought it was your wife, turned out to be your daughter, and then it doesn't matter. The hafara, whatever you made is the hafara. Why do you have to repeat the hafara again? That's the most question. Amri, so we answer like kasha. It's not a problem. Habistam, v'habimafarish. What does that mean? Yeah. When they told him that he tore kriya for his father, they did not tell him that his father passed away. They told him a member of your family passed away. He just assumed, well, who's the oldest person in my family? My father, or maybe he was sick. So he assumed that it was his father. Turned out to be it was his son. So we say that was Yaitz's kriya because he didn't. Why? Because he wasn't told that it was his father. But if clearly they told him your father passed away, and he tore kriya, turned out to be that it was his son or his brother, then he's not Yaitzer because Al is Dafka. So the same thing here by Hafara. He was told that a woman in your house made a neder. He assumed it was his wife. He didn't think it was his daughter. So then we say that that case that then would be, that was going to be a good hafara. Our mission is talking about why he has to do hafara again is because he was told that it was his wife. Turned out it wasn't his wife; it was his daughter. He was given the wrong information. So bimef fadish and you did the wrong, then you have to redo it. If it's stam, you don't have to redo it. So the big machlek is a shayni when we say stam. So we know that stam means that you were not told what it is. But what about your reaction? When we say stam, was your reaction also stam? There's a few ways of learning. One way of learning is you were told that your wife made the neder. You were told a woman made the neder, a stam. And what was your reaction? There's two ways of learning. Stam was, whoever it is, the neder should be bought. Is that what stam is? Or you assumed it was your wife, and you thought that was your wife. But because when you were told that about the neder, you weren't told a specific woman, you just told a woman in your house made a neder, that's called stam. Even though you thought it was your wife, you thought it was your daughter, that's still called stam. You didn't say it, but you thought. If you clearly said, my wife's neder should be bottled, then that's considered mafash, even though you were told something else. You thought. You said, okay, the neder should be bottled, but you thought it was your wife. According to Mendelsheim, that's also called stam. Because the others, that's not stam anymore. Anyway, so there's a stam approach. Says the Gemara, Tanya, we tackled in the Bryce a similar idea. Omrele told him, Maze, this person who his father died, but he did kriya. It turned out to be his son. So this is Mefarish. They told him clearly he was the wrong person. They told him your father passed away, and he taught kriya, and then afterward turned to be his son. So he hasn't fulfilled the mitzvah of kriya because he had in mind the wrong person. But Amrullah, they told him mes lemes, a immediate member of your family passed away. He just assumed of it was his father. The Kari taught kriya, and again the machlekes would be whether while he was saying kriya, he was thinking, I'm doing this for my father, or while he was saying kriya, he was saying, whatever. The Arigach after him to benoit to be son. Yotzi de kriya. Here's Yotzi de kriya. So we see clearly the difference in stam and farish. Rav Ashi comes along, a big machlek is a shayni with Rav Ashi arguing with his principle before, or he's just adding on another layer. Rav Ashi saying, and he's creating, innovating a new idea. When were you able to rectify the situation? When were you given the correct information? Was it within the short time of enough time to say a few words? We'll see in a minute what that is. Or the Gemara talks about it in a few places. So Mak is another way. Or Nazir, we'll have a Nazir. Means to say Shalom Alecha Rebbe, or Shalom Aleichem Rebbe Moiri, and actually in the Gemara it says in Baba Kama Shalom Aleichem Rebbe and Moiri, and in Shalom it always says Shalom Aleichem Rebbe. And the famous of Kivega's question, he doesn't understand where does that come from. When the Gemara clearly says the Shalom Aleichem Rebbe and Moiri. The only possible conclusion that some say is that that was a gift in their Gemaras, not like our Gemara. And the others try to get different answers. Why we don't say Shalom Aleichem Rebbe Umayri. Now, what that's all about, I'll tell you in a minute. So, if you were told that you had a mind, forget about Mefarish, even Mefarish, they told you that your wife made a neder, and you were made for thinking it's your wife's neder, but within a very short time, they told you, hey, sorry, it was your daughter, then that's good enough. The hafara is good enough. You just have to have a mind all the way, or sometimes you have to repeat it again. And others, but if not ketech then it's too late. Then it's too late. So it's outside the window. What?
said it, no?
Not from when they said it, from when he initially made his first hafara. Oh, and that Turkey was not a hefsek. In other words, it's a continuation. If they told him within Turkey Dibur of what he said, he wasn't right, then within Turkey Dibur of that. Now, what's that all about? How they come and yesterday, when we said that he's fulfilled the mitzvah creation, he found that with his son, Turkey Dibur. How the Amr did that you say that lo yoytz Yossi the not Yossi the Kriya. So if he taught Kriya, turned out to be that they told him it was his father. Then afterward they told him that it wasn't his father. Yaitze. Tanya, we learned the Braisa very simply. Mishi yesh with his olive. Somebody was sick in the house and passed away, and then fainted. Everybody thought that this person just passed away. But Kari taught Kriya. So when he taught Kriya, this person was alive. The Acher Mace, and he died within a very short time. Lo Yotzei Kriya, not Yotzei Kriya. Omer Hashem Pazi, Omer Rabbi Shimon Levi, Mishum Kapara, Lo Shanu Shvelach Dibur. That person died after the Dibur, then the Kriya you did before is useless. Avo B'Torch Dibur Kedibur Dami. If that person, this is a bigger chiddush. You did it before the event, but if the person passed away within the time limit, so Dibur is considered as if you tore the Kriya afterwards. The Hilchos and the Halacha is Torch Dibur Kedibur Dami. That within that time span, is as if it's considered as part of the talking. Chutz, there's only a few exceptions. And before we get to the exception, okay, few exceptions. Number one is Megadif. If somebody has to show curses against Hashem, Yaka Yosef and Yosef Hedron, afterwards you recant, it's too late. Our Gemara's expression is it sounds like you said this person is a god, whatever it is. You'll get killed even a minute later. Second later, you say, hey, I would take it back. You'll get killed, or according to other Rishonim was talking about, you said this thing will be used for Avodah Zarah, you cannot take it back afterwards. Umekadish, if you give Kedusha to a woman, you can't say afterwards, oh, no, you're no longer Mekudesh, too late, even though it's a split second later. Or Megadish, you divorce her, it's too late, especially if you're a Kohen, you cannot take it back. Now, what's the idea of Toikei Dibur Dibur? Where does it come from? Big machlek to the Rishonim. Rabbeinu Tam says, brought down everywhere, it's a Takanos Chachamim. The Chachamim felt that a person should have their chedetz for his Rebbe. He's doing a business deal, and suddenly his Rebbe walks by, and you have to greet your Rebbe, say Shalom Aleichem. So therefore, the Chachamim made a takana that they don't think that if you say Shalom Aleichem, that's it, the deal is over, and then you're stuck with it. We'll give you a little bit of time to say Shalom Aleichem Rebbe Umaydi or Shalom Aleichem Rebbe. So in other words, the whole thing is that comes from Chachamim. Other Rishonim follow the same idea, but they say, I can't remember who Rosh Hashanah say this. They say very interesting. They say by Krishma you're allowed to be mafsik. By Krishma you're allowed to be mafsik if you're nehayir. If somebody comes in, you're scared. You can say Shalom Aleichem. How can it be that for Krishma, which is mahatrated to say it's not a hefsik, and then for a business deal it's considered a hefsik? So therefore we decided that everywhere that's sure that the words you have to say, Yira would be your Rebbe. Shalom Aleichem, not from a covenant. You're not allowed to ask because of covered. You're allowed to respond because of covered. You're not allowed to ask for covered. You're allowed to ask from the Yiddah, have sing judgment. And Yiddah is like your Rebbe. You have to es Hashem lekechatira l'Rabba tamid chamim. But also your Rebbe, because that's es Hashem lekechatira. Anyone that you have Yiddah for. So and therefore. And that's the logic behind it. They both say the Nikud is they both say that's midrabanan. Now, if they both say it's midrabanan, the Rishonim have a problem. So how can we find that it affects even the Torah? We're going to say here that you can continue to be made for the ned of your wife is about Torah because if the whole thing was a Takanos Chachamim to be able to say hello to your Rebbe, how can we now, in a proactive way, undo a mitzvah of the Torah? We know that the Chachamim can tell you b'shavat taitz in a passive way, don't blow shofar on Shabbos. But to tell you, create a law that you can still have the right to annul the Nedarim, your wife, how can you do that? So the Mordechai says yes, that even though we say that the Chachamim cannot be, we hadn't heard of tzaddik the Yivams, Chachamim cannot go against the Torah in a proactive way, but where it's lemigda milsa, where we're doing to protect a law. And we're protecting the law of Es Hashem lekechatira that you should greet your Rebbe. So therefore, we're allowed to, even in a proactive way. Migdal milsa, to enhance another mitzvah. Others say The Ritva says a fascinating thing on the Ramban. They say that a person sometimes lips continue moving, so even though you think you finished talking, you're still talking. So therefore, you might have thought you finished talking, but you're still talking, and therefore we give you a few seconds after you finish your sentence as if you're still talking, which could even mean, according to some achreim, that's mahatayra. The Ran learns it that is mahatayra. We don't know where it comes from, but it's mahatayra. Now, others want to make a difference. Going back to the original question against Rabbi Tam, they say there's two parts to Teichei Dibur, and we're conflating the issues. There's Teichei Dibur where you're continuing what you started. Is it connected to what you did before? And there's Teichei Dibur where I can change my mind. Where it's a question of changing your mind, that is a Kanzachamim. But here by Hafara the door, we're not changing your mind. It's a continuation of what you said. I started saying Hafara, and I'm continuing now. The Hafara should be for my daughter, should be for my wife. Where you're continuing what you started, the union of Hafara, then maybe it's Mahatayra. When the Rabbeinu Tam says that by a transaction you can cancel, I want to change my mind, walk away from it. That is a Terkan Zachamim. But here we're not talking about it. All those in the Torah, we're talking continuation. Why punk these four? Not either because they're very severe. The Ran has a different story altogether. The Ran says it's all in your psyche. The Ran says that when you what do you call it? Certain things, when you decide, when you said I will do something, you actually, you know that you already concluded you made it up in your mind. You don't tell a woman I'm going to marry you and you're not even thinking seriously. I mean, when you say that, that means obviously I want to get engaged to you. You already thought it all through. So that's a gemar, and that's why there's no same to the get. You don't divorce your wife, obviously, if you decide to divorce your wife, that's the mar. Same way, these are very serious things. If you do it, that means you came to a conclusion, you thought it through, and you're doing it. Mashak and everything else, that sometimes you act a bit impulsively, and therefore we give you a little bit of time, a cooling off period. The rest of the world gives you 3 days, we give you 3 seconds. Sorry?
Megadif, you could say, is
Okay, but angry, that's impulsive. Angry. It's not necessarily impulsive. But such a severe thing, but such a serious thing that you wouldn't do it unless your real thing. Also, a big machlekes nachreinim. If let's say you made a shavua that I didn't eat something yesterday, it's going to be a lie. But you change your mind. The shavua is not one of the things here. Can you change your mind about the past? Everything here is the future. If I say you're engaged to me, this is about the future, and I can change your mind about, let's not take, if you're divorced to me, it's about the future. We no longer live together. All these things about the future, except Megadif, is you cursed the Abish. So Mela, if you curse the Abish in the past, and yet we say that only here you cannot change your mind, which means everywhere else about the past you could. So therefore, there are many poskim about Naman. Some poskim hold that you can undo even the past. Others say no. Once you did something, let's say you swore false about the past, there's no way you can undo that. Megadif, the words you learn Morris and Hedron, when they repeat it in Bezin, you don't say Hashem's name, you have to paraphrase it. So you say Yake Yosef ben Yosi, which is Yukevavke, and you're talking about the future. You're also talking about Yake Yosi ben Yosi. So the future you can undo, but not about the past. So the machlek is achreinim, you can undo the past, and everything else. Okay, next Mishnah. Amra, she says, she said, I banned these figs and these grapes that are released. So she put 2 things into one neder, grapes and figs. Even though the husband only confirmed one part of the neder, let's say the grapes, the figs are also, or the figs, the grapes are also, a partial confirmation is a full confirmation. But if you cancel part, if you a partial cancellation is not considered a full cancellation. Now, why should a cancellation be different than confirmation? We'll see in a minute. Big machlek is a shayna. So how do you understand? The Ran himself brings 2 days and he goes through the whole Gemara learning both ways. But how do you understand when you say a partial cancellation is not a cancellation? Does that mean that the part that you did not cancel is not canceled, but the part that you did cancel is canceled? So you canceled the grapes. That part of the net is canceled. Or do we say a partial cancellation is not a cancellation if there's no cancellation? Even the part that you said, exactly, it's one thing, and you cannot, exactly, that's the machlekes in the shayim. Omra, she said, these are the words she used. I asked her that these figs to me, and then she said, and then she spelled that again. She didn't put them like She said for Ketainim, and she said again for another, as if she made 2 Nedarim. In order to have each Neder is treated differently. She canceled one, that one is canceled, not the other one. And why is it treated like 2 Nedarim? Because she spelled out Shanita Emes twice. First of all, Mani must listen. Who's also a mission that says that a partial confirmation, partial cancellation is no. So Gemara says there are 3 opinions, and this is Rabbi Shmuel. Tanya, we learned Isha Yekimenu. The word Yekimenu we're going to break up as if it says Yakim Mi Menu. You confirmed from it. In other words, when it comes to confirmation, even from it, even part of it, is it good enough? But the Isha Yeferenu, when it comes to annulment, it doesn't say part of. Therefore, when it comes to annulment, you have to know the entire neder. If she said, I'm not going to eat figs and grapes, and then kiyam with te'enim, kule kayim, a partial confirmation is good because Isha Yekimenu. As long as he fulfills, the husband fulfilled part of it, that's its fulfillment. But hafil te'enim, ain't a mufir. But if he canceled the figs, it's not canceled. Ad sheyoffer afla novim. A partial cancellation is not a cancellation because it doesn't say anywhere yoffer mi menu. It says yoffer enu. So our Mishnah is Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Kiva disagrees. He says that we equate the two. Whatever the law is by confirmation, the same law applies to a cancellation. How do I know? The pasuk itself says Isha Yekimenu, the husband will mekayim it. The Isha Yefirenu, her husband will make for it. So in other words, the Torah is maktiv. There's an equation here between cancellation and confirmation. Rabbi Kiva says Harioim. It says Isha Yekimenu, Isha Yefirenu. Ma Yekimenu mi menu. When it comes to confirmation, even part of it. Part of it, and Rabbi Shmuel says therefore, cancellation also a part. If you cancel the figs, the grapes are also canceled. Rabbi Shmuel, he'll say mi ksiv yofer mi menu. When it comes to yikim menu, it says yokim mi menu. When it comes to yofer, it says yafirenu. All of it. Rabbi Kiva says you're right. I'm not teaching the words. I'm making a hekesher. Just like when it comes to confirmation, even part confirmation is considered confirmation. A part cancellation is cancellation. And you should know that these 2 opinions, that the fact that we're making whether a part, everyone agrees a part confirmation works. The question is whether part cancellation. Mishmol says no. Rabbi Kiva says yes. Do the Rabbi Shmuel Kiva? Forget. We agree, Rabbi Kiva, you make an equation, but the other way around. Just like hafara, the part that you annulled, you annulled. The part you didn't. You didn't say the confirmation. The part you fulfilled. The part you didn't. You didn't. This version of the Gemara learns like one of the ways I told you before. When we say that a part cancellation is not considered cancellation, doesn't mean there's no cancellation at all. It means that the part you did not cancel is not canceled, but the part that you did cancel is canceled. That's this gives of the Gemara. There's another gives of the Gemara is that just like Afara, there's no cancellation. A part cancellation is not a cancellation. So too by confirmation, there's no confirmation. Not even the part that you confirmed. Nothing happened. She says, the only way we treat it like 2 different Nedarim is she spells out Shani Te'emes, Shani Te'emes. Omar Rava says, Rava Maslisin Rab Shimon. Who says if you made a shvua to 5 people, I did not take from you. I don't have your pekodin, and you. Turned out to be later. I confessed that I lied. I have to then pay back each person and pay a penalty. Do you have to pay 5 people the penalties or just 1? If it's 1 shvua, he said loy loch. So the Chacham says 5 different shvuas. I made a shvua to person A, and then I said and to you. It's like 5 different shvuas. However, Rab Shimon says no. Reb Shimon says it's considered 1 shvua unless you spell out shvua leilach, shvua leilach. I have to say the word shvua 5 times in order to be considered 5 shvuas. Our Mishnah says, when do we treat it like 2 Nedarim? She says that the te'enim that I will taste, that I will not taste, or the figs I will not taste. She spelled out the neder each time. Who says that? Reb Shimon. The Amar says, if you spell out a shvua to each person. Let's just do the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Yedeya Ani. What we're going to do is that on Friday we'll learn Shabbos Gemara. So on Shabbos you're free. You don't have to stay up at 10:05 to join us. Says the Mishnah, Yedeya Ani. I know she yesh nedarim. Oh, exactly. Yedeya Ani she yesh nedarim. I know that there are nedarim. I know that that my wife can make the Nedarim. I will any there sheyesh mafridin. I had no idea that I had the right. I'm an ordinary person. I'm not a Talmud Chacham. I had no idea that I had the right to cancel my wife. So a month later, somebody made me aware of it. I heard a shir in shul, and my rabbi made me aware of it. So does he still have the right? Do we say that's called Yom Shama? Even though you heard the neder before, but Yom Shama means he has to hear the neder and also be aware that he has the capacity to cancel it. Yafet. That is his Yom Shama, and he can cancel the neder. What happens? Your day, he knew a bit more than that. Your day, I knew that you can cancel the neder. I will only your day, I didn't know which nedarim. I thought certain kind of nedarim you can cancel, but I didn't know this neder. For example, I knew that you can cancel inyan nefesh, but I didn't know you can cancel beinoy lebeinoy. I wasn't aware that this is neder, this type. I knew some, yeah. So my maratzis was much less. And not only that, here is a little bit of a negligence. You already knew that certain nedarim you can know. Why didn't you go and ask your rabbi which ones? That mayor says lo yafer. That's like a bit of negligence. That's not called that you were not aware. You could have been aware, but you were a partly aware. Chacham say yafer. Chacham say no. You can go ahead and cancel neder because the fact is you didn't know all the details. So it's as if you didn't know, and today you found out. So today is a Yom Shammai. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Mitzvah Hashem. Have a good day.